Hello everybody, it's the Alco Diesel guy with a much needed railroad layout update. I haven't done one of these in literally years. To start with, as you can see, there's a lot more color here. The trestle here, as we can see, has been painted for the most part brown all the way around. Even over here by those, if you remember those rather infamous rulers that were very prominent, well, as you can see very clearly here, they are now all brown. And they look very convincingly brown. I've went ahead and painted the yard. I've done a little bit tweaking around the roundhouse. I also found, quite by accident, this unique way of turfing things. Some of the ballast got mixed in with my brown paint over here, but that has turned out to be a blessing in disguise because I came up with this unique way of simulating dirt. And I've actually used it here in my roundhouse, the engine house area here, and as you can see, it really looks convincing. This looks like dirt now, especially around the sort of disused prime mover that I've painted rust and kind of laid around on the side there. Other tweaks I've done, well, to start with this trestle system, you'll note the tracks look suspiciously shiny. If you remember, this was two sections of brass tracks. What I've done, essentially, was to basically go back and take up the two brass sections because I'd actually been trying, if you remember on the S2 video, please feel free to check that out, the Atlas S2 video, I tried to run it up here and it kept stalling. As it turned out, the joining point right here, well, it wasn't there originally, I don't think, but where the two brass sections I used to have there came together, had a major issue. If we take a look right over here, see that at the end right there? I don't know how well this will go. Let me see if I can get back into the light better for you. But if we look very carefully at the end here, that has actually turned black. That's because the joining point literally corroded to the point where no power was getting through the track at all. I mean, talk about an insult to injury. So the end result is the power, in addition to the fact that the track wasn't 100% clean, which the joining point wasn't letting power through, so as a result of that, the trains really didn't run up at all very well. So in the end, I had to do something about this. Luckily, that same night, in fact, I had one of those pensive moments where I couldn't take it anymore and just started ripping track up and rebuilt it. I went ahead and took that first section up, and this was started here with curved tracks. I think the first section was here before. I went ahead and replaced all the first section here with just a bunch of 22-inch curves and a few smaller sections as we go down here. Then from this section on, I actually took a flex track and kind of custom made it fit so I could get everything to work. I'm sort of paranoid with putting flex track on curves, you know, getting the radius right and all that. And I'll show you how I got all that done. I also managed to refine a few things in the process of this, which definitely helped me out. If you remember the descent point here, I don't know how clearly this has come out on previous videos, but right here the tracks used to go left and then right. Now it's just a very gentle right turn, just a very wide radius right turn, and then eventually it merges into the second track very nice, very smoothly, runs very nicely. I accomplished this by actually bending the flex track, which is something that freaks me out, but it actually came out so well I left it as it was. And I'm actually really happy about how all this turned out. I did have to trim the track a little bit, and for that I got one of these magic track trimmers, which I think is just the equivalent of a fancy wire cutter. The interesting thing is that this is apparently this has been modified to make it so that according to the instructions or the box itself, that it is guaranteed to give you a smooth connection at all times to the rail joiner, no need to file. Well, believe it or not, this actually works. I did some very questionable cuts with it and it still came out beautifully. I got the section joined in right here, no problems at all. Works very smooth, very happy with the end result. Trains run a million times better, which is the main point. Let me go actually in more detail to what I did on the trestle here, just to show you how much that paint has come out. Again, those rulers, you can't even imagine that these were rulers originally. They look beautiful. They're very, very, very convincing. I also went ahead and painted all this brown as well to get all that detailed. Really just fixed a bunch of little things here and there. I went and did underlaying all over the place here. As you can see here, I put more supports on the track, underlaying them so that they would run smoother. Re-secured some track, loosened some track up, messed around with things in general, not much there. I went ahead and replaced some of the wiring for the switches over here. One of them is no longer electrified as I'm dealing with some electrical problems in my yard as this wiring is still 20 plus years old. Again, as you saw, the telephone wire I bought, I've been hooking more of that up. Those of you wondering, this is still the shop project. I had the video up there for a while ago. I'm going to have to try to find that, maybe do something from the archive again. But this is the shop tour project. I've had this engine running a couple of times. Basically, it's designed to give the visitors to the railroad a chance to tour the shop. The train goes around and basically goes through the tunnel and back out again where the shops are located. I can also have it, think of also throwing a few prime mover cars, although they may not make it around because the prime mover projects I've done, as you can see over here, are now stored in my yard over there. I have to still get that other train out. Those cars are wide radius, so I don't think they would make it around because these turns, how I accomplished this was with 15-inch turns. I don't think those are going to make it around. On that, mainly it's been equipment that I've acquired. I've actually given you an accidental sneak peek into one of my engines that I've reviewed more recently. I am again back in production, and as you probably guessed, this is that new camera that is new to me. Not new, but in reasonably good condition from what I've seen so far. Hopefully this video is coming out great because this is one of its first tests. I'm gonna go ahead and upload this and see how it comes out. Main reason why I'm freehanding this also is to check the stability on this camera, because I've heard people raving about how great it was. So we'll see. So I'm pretty much putting it to the ultimate test here. On that, just basic repair work. A lot of locomotives being fixed. A lot of reviews have gone up. Not up. A few switches got changed in the yard here. Not much. And again, a few more sections of track. What I have to do eventually, when I get around to it, is on this third track here. I'll zoom in. Wow, this thing really works great. This section back here is all brass going right through there. So I'll probably have to take that track up and change it over to nickel silver, only because it's causing conductivity problems. Also, this section here on the mountain, this one section is still an old brass flex track, which has definitely seen better days. It's still surviving, but it's going to be on the sort of work list eventually here. I've got some brass tracks underneath here that keep getting filthy underneath the bridge right over there. Those are a pain to clean, so I'm just going to probably get motivated enough to do those at one point. And just a few little details here and there. I probably want to also try to get a better water tower. I've been using this as a sand tower. I'm going to have to try to find a better water tower, or a more convincing sand tower or something. I've been trying to find a kit. What I'd gotten is back in the day for this locomotive servicing area, I'd gotten a sand tower and the fuel cranes all together. I bought one of them thinking it wouldn't be anything great. It turned out to be awesome, and then I couldn't find them anymore. So I'm trying to find that particular pre-made sand tower because I am terrible with models. With a few exceptions. I did actually, and there's one other detail I should show you. This little guy over here we see sitting right here on the side. This little shed, actually, I put together this little trackside shanty, this which is actually a flag stop station. I actually built this myself. I'm pretty proud of how it came out and painted it. It's not a bad structure. I've seen them done better though, but it works well enough. As you can see, I also added, I should mention, a few more houses around the layout, a few here, a few there. Overall, just a lot of spiffing up and a lot of other little details done. So anyway, again, I am back in production here. I'm hoping to get the Bachmann documentary out soon. I'm still running into problems with that. I'm going to start working on editing that and getting at least the first section out, and then messing with some other things. I'm also got another locomotive review I'm going to do. I don't know which will get priority. It depends on how I feel, I guess. Trying very, very hard to get things up. I just want to make sure they're to my standards. And, well, hopefully I'll be able to get some more videos for you folks up there to enjoy. So anyway, I think I'm going to call it a video right here, folks, and sign off with you folks. Again, if you like this video, please feel free to like and subscribe. And again, thank you so much for subscribing. I'm almost up to 300 subscribers as of this point. I really appreciate it. Please feel free to, again, to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, keep the metal side down.